If we can find a remedy for it, it will not only be good for us, but maybe we will be setting an example for other democratically inclined countries who are seeking such remedies. In spite of the fact that Parliament is in continuous session, it is not able to find time to consider in detail all the important matters that come up. We have, in fact, much less time because we are not in continuous session. I suppose our sessions will inevitably become longer and longer so as to enable us to deal with more and more problems and have more and more discussions. Anyhow, I have stated what the difficulty is at present, though I am in sympathy with what Professor Shaw said. I have no easy remedy for that difficulty except to any that we are perfectly prepared to consider together with the honorable members of the House any ideas or suggestions about how to give greater facilities for more intensive discussion of any great problem. An honorable member referred to the budget speech as being directly or indirectly a survey of all manner of problems, domestic, international, economic, foreign, etc. The House can hardly expect the finance minister's budget speech to be a survey of all these tremendous problems, although they have no doubt some bearing on the budget. The world is becoming far too intricate and difficult for us to be able to keep the full picture in view always. As I listened to the honorable member who spoke just now, I was wondering whether we had the larger picture in mind or were getting lost in few minor and secondary matters. For instance, having referred to the government's extravagance, the honorable member went on to say certain things in regard to our bringing forward a bill for giving a pension to the president. That signified to me an approach which I would call 100% wrong. Besides, I should have thought that the subject of pension for the president was hardly a matter for debate or reference here. I say, even if this country is starving, even then you have to provide for our president. The honorable member perhaps prefers starvation for the president and himself. I certainly will not stand in his way, but we are considering graver matters than this, and the fact that such points are raised shows that we are not looking at the problems. We do not seem to be thinking of the vast problems that we are faced with and have to wrestle with the vast problem of the country's economy in relation to the world's economy. Stop. The honorable member who has just spoken has dealt with certain wider questions which appear to me to go beyond the scope of the present bill, which is a short bill before the House. The House will remember that when this commission was appointed, they were entrusted with two tasks. One was to examine the whole income tax procedure and suggest ways and means to avoid or prevent evasion in future. Secondly, they were to examine specific cases which were referred to them. What the honorable member has been saying really refers to the first part, that is the wider question. As has been stated, I believe in the statement of objects and regions we have received from the Income Tax Investigation Commission recommendations on this wider issue, and they will no doubt come up before the House in the form of a measure, and the House will then have full opportunities of considering them, adding to them, or altering them, so that we might evolve a proper procedure. The sole question before the House now is what to do with the inquiry part of the Commission's work with regard to certain cases that were referred to them. Now I would beg the House to remember that this is not a roving inquiry. This inquiry has been confined to a certain number of specific cases referred to them up to a certain date. No further cases can come up before them. Apart from that, a fair number of all the cases that have been referred to them has been disposed of, and a large number still remains, and this bill is limited to those particular cases and none other. It does not affect the larger issue, and obviously the larger issue cannot be considered in the form of amendments to this particular bill, which is meant to give an opportunity to the Commission of Inquiry to complete its task in those specific cases which have been entrusted to it. This matter would normally, of course, have been dealt with by my honorable colleague, the Finance Minister. Unfortunately, he is not here, but I should like to inform the House that next to only to the Finance Minister, I have taken a great deal of interest in the work of this Commission, more perhaps than any other of my colleagues. Of course, the Finance Minister will be better able to deal with it.